This is Language Help, and today we'll talk about cooking and preparing food for the IELTS Speaking Part 1. Let's look at some vocabulary. Repeat after me. Vegetables. Vegetables. Meat. Meat. Pastry and bread. Pastry and bread. Milk and dairy. Milk and dairy. Okay, now let's talk about utensils. A kitchen utensil is a handheld tool used for food preparation. Utensils. Utensils. Fork. Fork. Tablespoon. Tablespoon. Teaspoon. Teaspoon. Serving spoon. Serving spoon. Ladle. Ladle. Spatula. Spatula. Knife. Knife. Kitchen knife. Kitchen knife. Bread knife. Bread knife. Cleaver. Cleaver. Oven mitts. Oven mitts. Pot holder. Pot holder. Bowl. Bowl. Plate. Plate. Teacup. Teacup. Frying pan. Frying pan. Teapot. Teapot. Saucepan. Saucepan. Grater. Grater. Deep pot. Deep pot. Rolling pin. Rolling pin. Cutting board. Cutting board. Now, what do we do with all of these? We can prepare or fix some breakfast. 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 For example, fried eggs or scrambled eggs. Or we can cook or make lunch. Lunch. For example, grilled patties. Grilled patties. Or we can prepare a light dinner. 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 For example, a salad. Salad. Now, if you want to prepare food, there are some important verbs that you may want to know. Repeat after me. To saute. To saute means to fry. Saute. Saute. The past is sautéed, and the present participle is sautéing. Sam sautés tomatoes and onions in olive oil. Another verb that is associated with cooking is to sprinkle. Sprinkle. You can sprinkle spices on top of the food. Spices. Spices like cardamom. Cardamom. Black pepper. Black pepper. Chili pepper. Chili pepper. When you cut the meat, you carve it. Carve. Carve. The chef carves the meat with great skill. You can also heat or boil water. Heat. Heat. Boil. Boil. If you boil honey, it becomes bitter. If you boil honey, it becomes bitter. We learned a lot of words today. Let's put them to the test. Let's bake bread. The things we need to make bread are called ingredients. Ingredients. A recipe is the way and steps we take to mix those ingredients and prepare bread. Recipe. Recipe. So what do we need? We need 1 cup of flour, half a cup of warm water, 2 tablespoons of oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of instant yeast, a bowl, a whisk, an oven, and a rolling pin. First, we pour warm water into a bowl. We add the yeast to it and we let it rest for 5 minutes. We now add the flour to the bowl. Next, the salt, and finally the oil. We use a whisk to beat the mixture until it becomes a dough. Now we have to knead the dough to help the bread have a better rise. After this, we cover the dough with a clean towel and wait for 1 hour. Next, we shape the bread in the way we want it to look and heat it at 180 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. And this is how you make bread. Okay, so we learned a lot of words today. Let's see if we can use them to answer common IELTS speaking part 1 questions. Do not memorize these answers, instead use them as guidelines. The first question: how often do you cook? This is a question about time and frequency. How often do you cook? Well, not as much as I would like to, because on most days I'm busy with assignments and I end up ordering food online. On weekends though, I get to actually cook all I want. Another possible answer would be, how often do you cook? Almost every day. I know my way around the kitchen and I enjoy cooking. I believe cooking at home is safer and cost efficient compared to fast food. When did you learn to cook? This is also about time and frequency. When did you learn to cook? I don't really remember. I must have picked it from my mom across the years. I did, however, refine my skills by watching YouTube videos in recent years. What kind of dishes do you like? This is a descriptive question asking for information. What kind of dishes do you like? Ethnic food is my favorite. I like Chinese and Italian. But I also like experimenting with homemade dishes, adding spices or taking away ingredients and so on. Do you cook or order from outside? It depends on the day really. If it's a working day, it's easier for me to order fast food and eat on the go. The weekend, on the other hand, is for me the time to experiment in the kitchen and prepare homemade dishes. Homemade food is much healthier but more time consuming. Who usually does the cooking in your family? This is another question about information. You can answer this question by describing a person and their cooking habits. My mother is the cook of our family. She never parts with her secret recipes or discloses them to anyone. But at the end of the day, I think it's the love that she puts in her dishes is what keeps us coming back. What do you think of fast food? This is a question about opinions and preferences. To make your answer longer, you can always compare and contrast. What do you think of fast food? Fast food is great for busy people. You can't really expect someone to work from 8 to 5 and still go home to cook. Still, I would say that fast food is bad for health and more expensive than homemade food. But then again, fast food is sometimes the only option available for commuters. So I understand its popularity. Alright, so that was enough information to get you started on the topic of cooking. You can read recipes online, you can watch YouTube videos and understand what they say. If you liked our lesson, please like and share it with your friends, and good luck on your IELTS.